morning. Good morning, YouTube. Did you know
What?
that we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio? Follow us and all that great stuff because we're there.
With Stephen and all his friends.
Corey, good to see you. Good to see
So
you.
in that fake background you have, is that a Dennis Wilson album? I'm not aware of that album.
That is a Dennis Wilson record. It's a great album. You don't know this record?
Well, I know his songs Barbara and Forever. I know the two, I know those two.
It's great. Well, we just lost a friend this weekend, Billy Hinchy. He just passed away, and Billy was part of Dino,
Desi and Billy.
and
Yeah.
Billy. Okay.
It all came back to me when you said Billy Hinchy died. I'm like, oh, who's that again? But and now I remember.
He was friends with Michael Politz. Did you know that?
Well, everybody's sort of friends with Michael Politz.
Well, unfortunately, Billy passed away really quick. He passed away from lung cancer, but it was exactly a year ago. We got to interview him, and I was going to call him back because I wanted to talk about Dennis Wilson. Did you know there's a song on here called Farewell, My Friend, and it's written about Billy's father because Billy's sister was married to Carl Wilson, Ann Hinchy.
Forgot that. Yeah.
You forgot that.
I think we went over that in the show. Yeah.
And then Billy ended up playing with the Beach Boys, but
right.
Billy was close, and Billy's on this record. He's on the.
He was originally asked to join the Beach Boys in the '60s, right around the time when, Brian pulled out. But he didn't want to do it.
Oh, wait, Billy didn't want to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
wow.
reading up on him.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, Debbie Muller, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you so much, honey. Happy Thanksgiving. That's right, it's Thanksgiving, and everybody out there, I hope you're getting your turkeys. I hope you're getting me. I don't like turkey, but if it's kosher, it all works for me. And speaking of kosher and all this, well, our thoughts and prayers to Billy's family. Billy was a sweet guest, and I re-uploaded the episode on Talking Wax. So you guys could see it, and you could see Corey in his finest moments. And Billy, actually, he was really funny. He was a really funny cat. Really funny. But you know what? Thinking of kosher and all that stuff, Corey, another guest you offended, and I want to bring them up to the show today.
I wonder who this could be. This could be anyone.
Oh, you don't know? You don't even know what's going on.
You never tell me. No, but it's good because I told you keep it fresh for me. We don't talk. We talk less now that I'm on the show than we talked before you had the show.
Yeah. Now, Dr. G, he's real backed up with business and stuff, and he was going to come in today. But I figured today I have an extra guest. I don't want too many people on the screen. I want to make it professional. So, Dr. G,
I think you pissed him off.
No, we're friends. We're friends. But why do you bother people, Leviton?
You have to ask them.
All right. We're going to ask her. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for today. And I'm glad you're all here to witness this. Larry, Steve, everybody's here. Alrighty, we have the wonderful Sheba Mason coming right in.
Wow.
We have Sheba, and Sheba is coming here to take care of you. You ready, Corey Leviton?
That's fine.
All right, Sheba. There's the beautiful Sheba Mason.
Hi, Sheba.
Welcome, Sheba. How are you?
All right. Can you believe I came back after the way Corey treated me?
You know what, Sheba? I am happy you're back. You know what? We don't need his nonsense. He's out of control. You're looking very pretty. Right. You're looking very pretty, Sheba. Thank you for being here. You know, first of all, let's take him out of the picture for 1 second. Look at him. He's disrupting our date. Okay. Now look, we're gonna put him back. Look at him. Look, he's disrupting the date. Look at you. Look, he's nervous. Look, there he goes. See, when he drinks the glass, he's flirting. We don't need you, the predator here.
What is he drinking at 7 a.m?
Oh, this is Chinese tea. It doesn't work.
Oh. What is it supposed
but I have $280 of it left.
No, look, Leviton, look. You don't think you're gonna get her with your humor. You're not that funny. You upset her last time. Let's recap a little bit here.
Well, my best friend growing up, Mark Grossman, was.
There he goes again.
No, his mom was really hot.
No, that's nice. This is what.
Yeah, what do you mean? That's nice. Shut up. You're just trying to instigate.
No, I'm not trying to instigate. Hold on. AH, welcome to the show. She goes to Sheba. Welcome. That's right. And
one of the people she had a relationship with was Jackie Mason, and we went to see Jackie.
Relationship is like a strong word. I mean,
no, that's a strong word. Correct.
Great name.
Right.
Jersey.
and
Everywhere I go, whenever I do a show, people
Yeah.
always come over to me and say, my sister's cousin's husband's daughter went out with your father.
You know,
Do they
that-
really? Do
Sorry,
they really?
your friend Tom
Shiva,
is that special.
Shiva, do they really? They really say this
Oh
to you?
yeah, it's amazing. Like, when did he ever have time to sit down and write a joke?
Wow.
How did the guy do 8 one-man Broadway shows with different material each time when he was so busy screwing around?
I'm
Did he have time to do laundry? I mean,
now Shiva, you know what? You Shiva is actually really great. Now Shiva, are you out performing right now? Are you on the road?
yeah, I'm out this Thanksgiving weekend. I'm going to be in Syracuse featuring for Joe Mackey, who's from the Greg Gutfeld Show. Really funny comedian. Doing that, and then I also run my own show 7 nights a week at the Three Monkeys in New York City on 54th and Broadway.
Corey, would you like to meet Mama?
Sure.
Mama Shiva, huh? No, you want to meet Ginger? Would you like to meet her?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see if she's around somewhere.
Let's see. Look, Debbie, hey, look who we have here. Hi, Ginger.
Hello.
How are you? My name is Stefan. Very nice to meet you over here. And that's that's my friend Corey right here. That's Corey.
Hey,
Corey
Ginger, what's up?
Corey used to be a writer for Circus Magazine, Playboy, Rolling Stone. He's unemployed. Yeah, he's barely on my show.
Ginger, I want to ask you a question.
Well, hold on. Before you offend her, look at you. Look at him. He's all excited.
I
Ginger,
am.
how?
I don't get offended.
Yeah, Ginger, how are you doing?
I'm great.
You
I'm
doing
great. I got my kid here. She's smiling. Move over.
Yeah, move over. Come come closer. You guys here. Come together. Look at so you guys are together right now for the weekend holiday. Oh, don't spill anything, Ginger. We're at the don't get. Are you drinking? What are you drinking, Ginger? What's going
I'm
on?
not really drinking like a Chinese tea that doesn't work like he is.
Are you really? Are you
It
really
doesn't work.
drinking? Hold
And I
on.
got a couple of hours to go with it.
Let me tell you my Chinese thing, and I'm trying not to be racist by doing an impression of the guy, but I have this GERD that there's Western science has had no answers for me on this acid reflux. Okay, I've tried every single method and pill and everything. So someone said, why don't you go to Eastern medicine? Why don't you try Chinese? So I go to this guy that my chiropractor recommended, and it's cool. It's like walking into the 1400s, and he's got all these like things all over the place, little buckets of stuff that he has people take out and put into a paper bag, and it's a special. Anyway, so he tells me that I have GERD because my digestion is too slow. It needs to quicken. I need to quicken my digestion, the pressure lessen, and no come up. So, so he gives me this tea, and it's not bad tasting. It's got I can see there's some ginger in there. There's some other things that I have no idea what they are, and so I now have diarrhea as well as GERD.
Oh, come on, Levitt.
I want
It's
that
true.
tea. Give me the name of that tea.
I don't know. If you ask him, he just tells you these Chinese names. So I have no idea. Like, when you go to the doctor, it says, please list all herbs you're taking. I have no idea what I'm taking. It could be it could be like wrench parts. I have no idea
So this
what's in there.
but the tea doesn't work. Both from hearing from both of you, the tea is not happening.
Yeah.
I know that if I go back and say the tea's not working, then he's going to say, "Oh, I need to reformulate it for you," and then charge me another $280. So I'm not going to go back.
I
Oh.
know. That's, they're into the money. Just make sure there's no pork or dead cats in it, and you'll be good.
Yeah. All right. So now we have Ginger here, and Ginger. I don't want to say your last name wrong. Is it Ginger Ryder?
Good enough.
How do I pronounce it?
It's perfect. Ryder.
Ryder. Let me move this. Am I right on it?
You're right. It's Ryder.
Right. I'm right. It's Ryder. You see that? Hey. Okay. First of all, let's fix this. Get that out of Ginger's face over there. We have the Coffee Talk logo. Come a little closer, Shiva. Come on. Meet Mr. Attica. Look at you. Come on. Over here. I'm gonna bust her chops now because she called me Attica. You guys look like twins. Look at you. Look exactly like sisters.
That's why I didn't want to be in the frame with her because
Why?
Because everybody says we look like twins.
No, you guys look great. It looks great.
And yet she does, she has
The Jackie. She has
father's
Jackie's.
lip. She's
Does
in my
she?
She's Jackie's
Hello.
shape, the face of the shape of
Corey's
her
staring
face.
at us like we're a science project.
You guys are gonna. You guys think I'm nuts. I see all Ginger and Sheba. I don't see Jackie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Corey.
guess she's kind of fortunate in that case.
Yeah. That, now, Ginger, you met Jackie. How old were you? In your 20s, mid 20s?
I was 26.
Tell how old you are.
Well, I don't care how old
I'm
I
54,
don't
Ginger.
care what they think how old I am. Okay. I
I'm
was
54.
26. I'm not giving you the year.
Okay.
They don't have the year.
Okay.
Unless they look it up.
Okay.
Okay. And so I was 26. I was sitting in Wolfie's with my mother. We just moved to Florida. We were here 3 days, and my mother was looking for an apartment, and I was excited because I was getting my first apartment alone. And a woman came over to the table. She said, "Do you want to meet Jackie Mason?" And I said, "Who's Jackie Mason?" And my mother said, "He's my favorite comedian. Come on." So we go over to the table, and she's all fawning. And he asked her all kinds of questions, like, she said to him, "Jackie, I love your acting. I've always been a great fan of yours." And he said, thank you. You're no dummy." And then he looked at me. He said, "So what do you do for a living?" And my mother said, "My daughter is a teacher of the hearing impaired who belly dances on the side." He said, "I knew it. The minute I looked at her, I knew she was a teacher of the hearing impaired who belly dances on the side." So he said, so then he says, "I ask you a question," and it comes out, he was talking to me. He said, "I ask you a question," and it comes out of her mouth. And she must be a ventriloquist too. Okay. Forgot that one. Thank you. Okay, so then he said to my mother, because she's the one who kept fawning all over him like he was God.
Yeah.
And he says to her, "So would you mind if I took your daughter out to dinner?" And she said she'd love it. Here's her number.
Wow.
And so that's how it started.
Wow. So,
And I thought to myself, I don't want to go out. In those days, he didn't even dye his hair. I talked him into dyeing his hair. He had prematurely white hair, and I was thinking, God, he's so much. Who needs somebody this old? I don't care who he is.
so you thought right away. Right away you weren't attracted. You was just like the hair needed.
Initially, I was not attracted, and
Okay.
then we went on a date, and it took an hour, and then I fell for him. He's just
Humor is an absolute aphrodisiac for women. It is not for men, but it is for women. You could look at somebody, and the way they look to you completely changes if they make you crack up.
That's right. Women
Yeah.
love to laugh.
They like to
Well,
laugh.
people love laughing. Has some kind of positive vibes to it that insert themselves in your
Yeah.
innate consciousness or something.
Yeah. I think so. I think so, Corey. That's why you got a pretty wife, Corey. You did good.
That actually is true.
The laughter, right? So the date. So where did you guys go on the first date?
Well, I met him for an hour at IHOP on Collins Avenue in Miami Beach.
IHOP.
Yeah, the first date was just like a coffee to meet each other. I guess he wanted to see if he could talk to me.
Yeah.
If I'm a nutcase like the woman that he knew, or what I was. I just was a very nice college girl getting my master's degree. That's all it was.
That's it.
You
So
know?
was he in a relationship when he met you at the time?
Well,
Or he-
there was so let's fast forward to the first time I slept with him.
Mhm.
Okay, in a hotel. He gets a phone call from Jill Rosenfeld. And I shouldn't give names on this, but she's so broken. I feel bad for her. Anyway, and this is 100 years ago. So he said, he says, "Be quiet because this other girl on the other side of the phone might commit suicide if you flush the toilet. Don't flush the toilet. This girl, she doesn't have to, she can't know that I'm with another woman. She's madly in love with me." And I thought, oh my God, what kind of a nut is this? But all right, I went along with it. He was a celebrity, not that big a celebrity. It was it was 12, it was a few years after the Ed Sullivan thing. I'm not allowed to give my age. She was very embarrassed on my age, so I don't give it.
Yeah. So after Ed Sullivan, after what he pointed the finger, what did he do on Ed Sullivan?
Well, it was really misconstrued. And we do have a whole song about it, but in the musical. But basically, what happened is he was all set with his act, and he was doing really well. This was like the 7th time he was on the Ed Sullivan Show, and Ed Sullivan had to cut short everything because President Johnson was giving telling him to stop. He was going like this, stop, because President Johnson was giving a live press conference about Vietnam. And Jackie couldn't understand it. He just saw these motions, stop. And he didn't know if he sucked, if he didn't suck. But Ed Sullivan kept telling him one thing, you got 2 minutes. You got 1 minute, and Jackie was like, he's giving me a finger. He's giving me a finger. Jackie didn't have this finger in his vocabulary.
Yeah.
It was not in his vocabulary. He didn't even know it. He just had been a rabbi. So he didn't know. He says, "You're giving me a finger. I'll give you a finger. I'll give you a finger." That's how he talked with his hands. And it was all misconstrued. And Ed Sullivan was livid. And Jackie was the only one who could make Ed Sullivan livid. He has that, distinction. He was livid. He canceled all his shows. And Jackie had 2 shows that were going to be on network TV. They were canceled. It was the original cancel culture, the original.
Wow.
And it was all misconstrued. And Jackie took him to court. Took 2 years. And 2 years later, Ed Sullivan had him on. And he apologized in person. It didn't do anything, though. His career was still in the toilet.
Wow.
And he still had to build himself up. And the first time I saw him, it was $7.50 a ticket on Lincoln Road. He invited me and my mother because and that was like a week after I met him.
Wow.
He was struggling for a very long time before he went back to Broadway. Went on Broadway, not back. He had never been to Broadway, but he was a big hit. And the years that I knew him, like he'd play like his big gigs were like the Concord Hotel, the mountains. We'd go up there and all that, and he'd get like $5,000 a gig. But he never thought that was good. I thought that was great, but he didn't think so.
For back then, right?
Yeah, for back then, I thought it was great. But on Broadway, he was making $65,000 a night. So there's a big difference, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, did Ed ever? Did he ever speak to Ed off on the phone or get a phone call? His people called him, or hey?
Well, there were lawyers,
Yeah.
and Jackie wanted to sue him no matter what because he lost 2 big network shows he was going to have. He struggled all his life. Not that he was that old. I think it happened to him like he must have been like I think it was in his late 30s that this all happened, and then he had to build himself back. No, maybe 40s, but and then
Which at that age, it's not easy to build yourself up when you're older already. Too, you have to. I got to start back, go
Yeah,
back.
but he kept going, so I got to give him credit.
Yeah.
He kept going. He had a belief in his talent, and as we know, he was very talented. Today, he'd be really censored, but he was really talented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He's
wonder what
lucky he did his act when he did.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
that is absolutely true. I mean,
Don Rickles too.
Don Rickles,
Yeah.
another one who's
Yeah.
fantastic, who you can't
Yeah,
get away
yeah.
with.
Yeah.
That's the humor that I love. I love
Yeah.
that humor, and it goes back to, I guess, your upbringing from even me as a kid growing up in my home, and even in the neighborhood. I grew up in Brooklyn, so it's about busting chops, and the more you bust somebody's chops, that means you like them.
And you notice one person you don't see anymore anywhere is Lisa Lampanelli.
Yeah, she quit comedy.
Really?
She quit,
She
right?
quit comedy before she was canceled because she
Yeah.
would have been canceled.
Now she's a life coach.
Really,
Yeah.
really. So you think she
Yeah.
quit comedy, Corey, because she just bowed out gracefully? Is that what you're saying?
No, because this culture, this cancel culture, doesn't permit comedians to insult anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It really is.
It's
And
bizarre.
and
That's-
everybody, the first thing they did, you'll remember the Shibu in the nightclubs, especially after Michael Richards did his thing, which is horrible. And I'm not equating what Michael Richards did with a regular comedian performing a regular set, but they would try and get people to check their phones at the state, and they said, please put your phones here, pick them up later. That didn't work. People were really upset about that. So now you've got,
They're so attached to their phones.
but now the problem is you got these people that want to become stars and celebrities for 15 minutes themselves, who go into nightclubs and will get ready to film somebody saying something like, controversial, so they can.
Make my day kind of thing. They prepare themselves and, that's it. They just want to see you, fail. Yeah. The meanness coming out. There's a lot of light coming out now post-COVID, but the light is shining the dark spots and they're coming out. They'll vanish though.
They will.
Like within 50 years, there's not going to be that much darkness.
No.
Anyway.
You always
That's a
gonna
whole
get
other
people.
story.
Yeah, no, you're always gonna get people like that. Even with doing this show, it's not the easiest. We'll get the
Yeah,
haters out
but
there.
you don't realize that it's technology that's facilitating and encouraging this behavior because those people were relegated before to writing physical letters and sending bombs. Now social media gives them almost equal footing with the celebrities they're trying to take down. If you're a Twitter user and you're mildly entertaining and you get a following, you could be a complete troll and have absolutely nothing on your resume that you've ever done, and you could still take someone down. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But, it has a way of biting back at you eventually. It does,
Yeah,
like
you're
they
right.
take what's OJ Simpson. You thought he was going to get off scot-free, right? He
Mhm.
didn't, right? He got off temporarily. Then he ended up in jail because it bit him back, comes
That's
back.
only because he kept up.
You
He
put
kept
out,
up.
comes back,
And he let it go to his head. That's why he said, "I'm invincible. They couldn't get me on murder. They're not going to get me on this."
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do a show where I could say what I want to say, but you can't say what you want to say. Even YouTube is all like it's all mishmash, and you got to be careful what you say. But I'm Jewish. I'm a Yenter. I'm allowed to be like say what I want to say. It's my show, and that's what that's the way it is. 11:10.
Well,
Ginger,
lately, Bill Maher has been really, really saying that this cancel culture is ridiculous. He goes on every show on Fox News and everything, and he says that part of cancel culture is bizarre. Comedians have to have some leeway to be funny. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never harm you. It's like I think we have to go back to that.
Mhm.
You know.
Now I want to ask you guys something. Now on your play, you guys do a play about your ex and Sheba, your dad, but you're playing your mom in the role as your mom, and then the guy who's playing your dad, you actually last time you were here, you dated him as well, correct?
For
Mhm.
7.5 years, yes.
7.5 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Does he look like Jackie?
Yeah, but he looked like Jackie when Jackie was really young and cute, He
Wow.
looked a lot like him.
Was he as fun?
Um,
He couldn't be as funny as Jackie.
Nobody's as funny as Jackie.
No, no, not at all.
Funny.
Not at all.
But
That's-
yeah, the play is gonna run again somewhere. It had a really good run, and then it was like COVID. So
Is that
everything-
what happened with the play? The whole COVID thing just
We had a really good performance of it in a really nice theater just before COVID hit. Thank
Mhm.
God. But the COVID thing, like everybody in theater, except for Broadway, the little theaters all over the country are struggling. People are, afraid to go, and the older people are the ones who go to theater a lot, and they're
Right.
just not going anywhere. They're just so used to not going. Some people are going to be in their homes for the rest of their lives wearing masks alone with fear.
you can't live like that.
No,
No.
you're talking to us from Florida. I live in Florida, and I see it all the time. And yet, my gym was open like 2 months after COVID came out, and fully. Florida is very open, has been. But even so, a segment of the population, they're afraid to go.
Wow.
So they rule their lives with fear.
kind of nice though. Who needs them?
You need them to buy tickets.
You need them to buy tickets. You do need them to buy tickets. How about you, Ginger? How about would you go now? You do your normal thing. You're not letting it stop you.
Well, I really am a student of. It's a whole long story. Can I talk about it?
Sure.
Yeah, tell
Or-
me.
She says it's
I don't
boring.
care. Go ahead. Let's talk about whatever.
No,
you
if it's
want.
boring, I don't want to bore people.
No,
go
trust
ahead.
me, Ginger. It's a holiday. It's a family affair. We're sitting at the table having coffee. You know what? I'm going to make time for both of you guys over here. You know what? Tell us. You
Okay.
know,
Tell 'em.
Okay, so basically, you have something called the innate. You have a 25-foot aura around you, and you have something called the innate. The innate, I'll just cut forward to what's going to happen 100 years from now. Okay. 100 years from now, when people have like a brain tumor or something, or a cancerous tumor, they're going to be able to go into a medical center, lie down, look up, and what they're going to see is a visual imaging of their consciousness. And they're going to be able to direct their own consciousness to heal themselves, to get rid of the tumor. So basically, now I use that a lot. without looking at it. I
Mhm.
just like direct my consciousness to heal whatever it is, and even the fear. And I believe it wasn't COVID that killed people. I believe it was their fear of it, and they triggered their immune systems to overreact, and that's what killed them, the fear. Because all you read was fear, 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 fear. Fear is very strong.
But see, so mind. You're basically saying mind over matter. Basically, now back to our subject. Basically, that's what
Saying
it
that
is.
it's no accident that the trees breathe out what we breathe in, that nothing
No.
about this lifetime is an accident. And I could go further and further and further because I'm a student and I'm learning myself, but it's just nothing is an accident in everything. Nothing that's in your house or on your head or that you're looking at did not start out as a thought or consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Everything. Now you may think, oh, why? What happens? Well, you have a plan between lifetimes, and I believe that Jackie Mason, me, and Shiva had a plan between lifetimes, and this was the plan: that he would be a lousy, schmucky person, and in some ways, also brilliant, and it was so we could overcome obstacles. And it's a whole long story. Everybody has their own plan between lifetimes. It doesn't mean you have to stick to it. There's plan A, plan B, plan C. Things always change with 3 choice. Okay, it's getting boring.
No, it's not. No,
See,
I'm.
no, I understand.
I like it. Sheba, you
well-
got a great mom over here. She's fun. I'm glad you brought it out Thanksgiving. This is fun. You're not being born. I think it's actually really, really good. You guys have a really close relationship.
Not really.
No,
And she doesn't even like me sometimes. Yeah, doesn't like.
we're all like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Shiva, your mom, right?
I recommended her for the podcast.
What's that?
I recommended you for the podcast. I like
She
you.
did. She did.
When you go off, I'm like, we have a chat.
Now let me ask you, Shiva, with your mom, you guys are working together on the show about your dad, right?
She wrote the whole thing.
You wrote the whole thing.
Right?
It's a musical.
It's a musical comedy.
Wow,
It's been on Broadway, in a way.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
it wasn't off Broadway in a major way. It was like off Broadway in a minor way. That
Yeah.
means like once a week.
Look at this. Everybody's loving this. Look right here, all the way from
Really?
England. Yeah, right there. Look at this.
Ladies Faceful.
That's right. Loving
Loving
it.
this. Thank you, Ladies Faceful.
Yeah, very
Love
nice.
you.
Look how cool that is. Now, Leviton, have you heard about the play yourself?
No, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, because you're a huge Jackie Mason fan, Leviton.
Wait,
Oh, I grew up. Yeah.
there is one scene where I have like 15 girls singing to Jackie's portrait because it's not like I was an idiot and I didn't know there were lots of other women, and and I have them singing, "Oh Jackie, won't you settle down?" And all these women are singing with heartbreaks and all that. And I'm making fun of him, and 'cause he was like I used a picture like when he was in his 60s, when he was starting to really look Halloween-ish. And like, you see all these women like looking at him like, Jackie, you gotta like look at it. I mean, I was totally aware. Was I aware of your friend's mother?
No, she wasn't.
Specifically? No,
She wasn't
but
a major
lot of
figure in
people
his life.
like that. She was not alone. There were a lot of people like that, tons of them. And his the woman that he didn't marry, but it was publicized that they got married.
Jill?
She knew about them, and she'd have a fit, and he'd have to hide them and all that. But me,
Wait, are you talking about Jill?
yeah, Joe, his manager. He had met her 2 years before me, and that was the one where he said, "Shh, don't flush the toilet, or this Yenta's going to commit suicide."
Don't that is that what he said? Don't flush the toilet. This Yenta is going to
Yeah,
come
if she hears there's another woman with him at that point, she would be like that. And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, somebody becomes pregnant. That really must have hurt her. I feel sorry for her. I just feel sorry that her whole life she was obsessed with him. There's other men on the planet, and I feel sorry for her. I think now she must be really hurting. I heard he was mean to her before he died. He was always like trying to like go out with other women. I mean, I'm sure.
Well,
You have to be honest, because I don't get offended. If somebody says it's boring, shut up. I'll shut up. I'll change.
No. You're great. You know what? I don't
Okay.
get offended either. I love the stories. What's the matter, Leviton? You have some.
Well, there's an 800-pound gorilla in the room. We should address it. Jackie denied that he was the father of Shiva.
Okay. Right. I'm not going to deny that. So in the beginning of the paternities, like this was like when she was the last time I saw him, okay, she was 9 months old. Okay. And he used to like invite me to California, invite me to the mountains. And then one time, like I took a picture out of her and showed it to the chauffeur in the car, and he had a raging fit. I thought you were going to tell people it was your baby, not my baby. You told me it was going to be your baby, not my baby. You said you wanted to have a baby. I remember when I told him I was pregnant, he said, I'd marry you quicker if you weren't going to have a baby. I don't want a baby. I travel around too much. I don't want a baby. But basically, he didn't want a baby because he was really attached to Jill, who ran his money. She was his money manager. And she also, this isn't common knowledge. I don't know if I should give it that fact away.
Right.
He found her in a really compromised position on his living room floor where she had to be rushed to the hospital when she found out
Oh,
that
my
he was
God.
coming around. And so he always had that traumatic memory of her, and so he was afraid. I think that was like a big part of it. Plus, he does like the idea of screwing around. Let's face it. He didn't want to be tied down, but whatever, he had a fit. And then I had gone to California and he was doing a show. I was with him in the Beverly Hills Hotel and he was doing a show. And he said, what I want you to do, because he always invited me. I never called him ever. And he said, what I want you to do is you'll come to the show, but you walk in the back of the theater. You won't come with me. So this way Jill won't know. And I was thinking, I had just given birth and I'm not going to take this. I'm just not going to do it. Giving birth hurts, So I left. And then after I left, I went back to Florida, and he was really upset, and he called me. And then I saw him one more time in the Concord, and I knew when I walked out of the car that this was the last time I was going to see him. And he had his brother, the rabbi, call up and say, every time you want money, Jackie can't be associated with the baby. He just can't. And he said, the important thing is to have the baby, not the man. That's what the rabbi said. And he said, every time you need money, just call up Jackie. You'll just call him up and he'll send you money. You don't worry about that. He'll take care of the baby. So I did. I called him up and Jill answered the phone. And my mother, she was very dominating in this whole thing. She said, are you going to go like that or are you going to take him to court? So my mother convinced me to take him to court. Took him to court and, he wouldn't even come down to Florida for the blood test. We had to go to New York for the blood test. And so I had to take her and, we went to New York to some blood bank, blood place. I have it on paper. And he was there with his attorney and Jill. And his attorney tried to go into the room where the blood was being taken. In those days, there weren't really computers and
No DNA.
The DNA test happened like a year after I sued him. That would have been good. We had to have an HIV blood test, which came out 99.94% that he was the father. And then he still was fighting that. But I remember Raoul Felder, he's a creepy attorney. Just
Millions and millions of dollars per case.
He's just so creepy, though. And I heard about him as he grew up with his brother was a famous songwriter, and he had polio, and he was like mean to his brother because I knew somebody who lived above him. I heard years later.
I worked with his daughter, Rachel Felder.
Is she nice?
Yeah, she actually is.
She might be. She might be. But I think he's such a creep the way he tried to go into the blood test room. And I walked in there and I said, this man has no reason to be in this room. And they were really afraid of me. It's like he was about to bribe them. I could see that. He was, because he bribed people all the time. He kept us off like the Sally Jesse Raphael show in those days. And he bribed people with money. And he was about to bribe these people in the blood test room. And I walked in, I said, get out of this room. You have no legal bearing in here. And they had to use Jackie's blood.
Wow.
And he would have done that. He would have done that. That was their plan. That's what a low-life scum he is. And, that's that. So the blood just came out and he had and it was like, took 3 years because he fought it every step of the way. They even took it to the, and she looked just like him in those days, as a baby. And Howard Stern said she's an ugly baby, but she was like the most beautiful baby. And like everybody has a beautiful baby, but she looks exactly like him. And the higher court said the resemblance is uncanny, striking resemblance. And the blood test was 99%, 0.94. And so, you know, he had to pay child support for 18 years because I lived in Florida. If I lived in New York, it would have been 21.
Wow.
And so paid child support, which was, I know everybody wants to know how much, right? Who doesn't want to know how much child support? Raise your hand if you don't want to know. Nobody's raising their hand. Everybody wants to know how much child. You don't want to know?
I want to know.
If you want to know, I'll tell you.
I want to know.
Came
Yeah.
out to like $42,000 a year, which wasn't that much for a guy who was making $65,000 a night.
Wow.
But I wasn't after the moon and the stars. I believe if you have a roof over your head, and I did use it for her. I should have got her braces, but my mother didn't believe in braces.
You know what? But it's funny you say the braces because Corey, you when you were watching the original show, you liked the whole smile, Sheba. See, so you did right. See, you're all like Corey's all like, I like the smile. Look at right.
She
Look
has
at
the
this.
lips that everybody's paying for now, and she had them since she was born. So
How mean of Howard Stern to say. Who would say this about a baby?
No, Howard was obviously trying to get on Jackie's good side. He probably had him in during an interview.
Yeah.
no, he was kidding. It was like on the front page of the New York Daily News and stuff like that, and he was just kidding because she was so cute. And
Oh.
he looks
You,
really
you know what, Ginger? Just hearing your whole story, it just mentally, you took a just a mental beating. Here you are with dealing with
Well, you know what? You're
being
not
pregnant,
wrong.
seeing the affairs, right? It's like all this. How did you handle all this just inside?
I'll give you a little story. There's a story about a guy who dies and he had everything perfect in his life. He had a white picket fence and a perfect wife and a perfect marriage and 2 beautiful children. And he goes up to St. Peter. I'll talk about St. Peter even though I'm a Jew. And he said, what happened to your life? What did you do? And he told him, and he said, go back. You haven't lived. We're supposed to have obstacles, so we eventually bring light into the world. And I never made her hate her father. I think she learned to do that on her own. But, although she doesn't hate him, but he did try to make a play for her once. He didn't realize it was her.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that
she was-
true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't realize it was her.
Really? What,
I think this is the second Daily News moment.
what was the move
It's
that
like
Jackie
fun,
did?
'cause it's like you're getting your father's approval.
Wow. What was
Wait.
where how did this all happen?
I was coming out of the Broadway theater where I was bartending for Spamalot, and he was coming out of his theater, and I came over to him and I said hello, and he goes, hello, who are you? And he started like trying to hit on me. He goes, and I said, I'm actually your daughter.
Yeah, but then a few years later, because at that
Wait,
time-
how did he react when you said that?
What?
How did he react when you said that?
He was like, oh, okay, hello. And then he told me to show up the next day. And I think I told you this last time. He
Right,
told
you
me to
did.
show up the next day and like come to a show. He said, you'll come at 7:00 because the show is at 8. You'll come, you'll sit backstage, we'll talk it over. He said, if for some reason they don't let you in, come to my house. And he started to give me his address, and I was taking out a pen. And he goes, don't write down my address because Jill's parents are standing right there. So then I went to the show the next day, and there was a lawyer's letter waiting for me from Raoul Felder telling me how I can't come in. So to this day, may not even know that I ever came.
Wow.
But the point is that when she was doing that, she had
Really quite a
she had
drama.
long black hair. Years later, you were sitting at the Applejack diner when you were blonde and he didn't recognize you. And remember he came over to you and
Oh,
started saying
yeah.
you didn't know who you were. You forgot about
Yeah,
that.
that's true. I forgot that.
That's the one I was
Yeah.
referring to, not when you were like 18.
I think I blocked it out.
Wow.
It was years later. He actually came over to her when she was a blonde.
She likes this look,
He likes the look.
Uh,
Wow.
He likes all looks. He likes
That's
Asian. He likes everybody. Black. He likes Chinese. I said that. He likes women. One thing about him, I used to hear like all these rumors that he was gay. And, like thinking there's nothing, he's not gay. He doesn't like men. He likes women, lots of them.
Really, there was rumors that he was gay.
There were rumors that he was gay, like you hear, that's just it. Do you know that after he passed away, there were newspaper articles that said that Sheba was transgender. There were newspaper articles that said Jill was her mother. The people, nowadays,
they get things wrong a lot.
they get a lot of things wrong.
That's from the 50s mentality, especially in the Jewish culture, which I'm from. When a man isn't married by the time he's 40, there's something wrong with him,
Oh.
and that usually meant he was gay. This is the culture that my parents came from.
Yes.
Their
Yeah,
parents
right.
told them that so and so is a nice looking man. He's got a good job. Why isn't he married? He's gay.
You're right, Corey.
Yeah, and you know, and now that's not even, you know, it's you can
Right.
be whatever you want, you know, and still be a wonderful, wonderful person, you know, a parent and everything else.
Right.
So now they have to find another stigma, right? What are the Jews going to say? So what's something wrong with him? He's gay. That's nothing wrong. So then what? You know. I always wish that Sheba was gay. She wouldn't be so unhappy in her love life.
Now let me ask you two ladies: are you guys both single, or you have others in your life? I think I asked you last time, Sheba, but maybe things have changed from that.
He's a really nice husband.
I'm married now, 21 years to a cantor.
You're
I
married-
actually met him in my play. He wasn't a cantor yet, but now he's like very, you know, very popular in this area. He makes a
Really?
living. He's
Really?
paying for the computer and the electricity in this house. So
Wow. Well, congratulations! 21 years.
yeah,
21 years. Wow. That's great. Is he funny?
well, he actually is an impersonator. He goes around like does shows impersonating. He's pretty good. He's
Yeah.
pretty good. He's very funny, very sweet. And you want to know the most thing about him I like is that he's always positive and upbeat. It's
He
very-
doesn't impersonate
he-
Jackie Mason, does he?
What?
He doesn't
yeah,
impersonate.
He imitates Jackie Mason. Yeah, so yeah, he imitates Jackie Mason great. He's a really good imitator. Totally a great imitator. Yeah.
That is funny. 21 years. That's a long time. It really
Well,
is.
yeah, and I knew him before that, you know. So now
Wow.
they're wondering how old. Well, you're gonna have to look that up.
I'm not. I know. I don't want to go. Did you have
I'm
a big?
younger than Biden. I can tell you that. I think everybody is younger than Biden.
Well, I think
And,
so.
and,
Now-
and I'm older than Melania. So
all right. Well, let me.
we're in the middle.
Did you do a big wedding when you guys got married?
You mean when I got married?
Yeah. To your new husband.
Actually, it wasn't what you call a big wedding now because I was already, you know, I already had a child and, you know, and all this stuff. So we had some people come to the beach and my sisters came and they wrapped some kind of thing around me as a wedding dress. I didn't have a normal wedding dress. Where's the wedding picture? Oh, it's on the wall. This is the wedding picture right here.
Oh, I want
I
to.
just don't do anything like, you know, like normal. What can I tell you? Here, this is
She
just,
wore like a wrap. It was like a green wrap.
this is an old wedding picture.
Let's see. Let me make this bigger for a second. Hold on. That I could see this good. Hold on. And put this screen up bigger. Oh yeah.
You know, I wasn't wearing a white wedding gown.
And that's Sheba with dark hair in the picture, right?
Yeah, that's Sheba with dark hair. Yeah,
Oh, that's a great picture.
he was 15. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
So, wow, it's a great
he's
picture.
a little younger than me. You
Yeah.
know, but
So
that
you
has
had-
nothing to do with it.
it turned out to be a happy ending after all the
It
nonsense.
is
you
a
went
happy
through.
ending. Yes, it's a happy ending. You know, I love the ducks outside and the birds outside.
You know, I could picture your whole story with Jackie and all the shenanigans. Okay. It could be such a movie. And a guy like Scorsese could take this role and make it into such a crazy movie with the drama.
Scorsese with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you do you ever think about trying to get it into make it into a film or
I think it would make a good film.
We've
You
been
know?
talking about like
We've
how
been,
to
talk,
go
we've been
about it,
talking
actually.
about it, and you know, we're looking at it. Just you know, if you're not in California or out in the world, like a friend of hers, a comedian, he was there just a few weeks, and he got on to Larry David. And you have to be there. You know, do you want to, you know, leave your happy home to get a movie? I mean, I don't know.
Mhm.
If it happens, it happens. You know.
Now, would you say, because everybody wants the excitement, there's excitement in this, right? If you're writing a script, there's a lot of excitement, right?
Sure.
Right. And then there's a lot of drama, right? In this,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of laughs in it, right?
Yes, definitely.
A lot of laughs.
I think it would be interesting. You know, it's based on the true story. What I wouldn't do is take it to the end of his life the way he was at the end of his life. I would take it like base it on me. You know, the end of my life. No, I'm still alive, so it can't.
almost like remember the movie that Priscilla did, Elvis and Me?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
mean-
now, like, you could see a movie, you don't even really have to know who the person is if it's done well. Like, I really didn't know much about Tammy Faye Baker at all. And
Mhm.
I saw her movie and I thought it was a really good movie, you know. Aretha
Yeah.
Franklin, I mean, I knew about her. She was before my time, but it was still like a really well done movie. I don't think, you know, like it matters if you you know, like if it's just a figure in history. I don't think it matters that much if you really know who they are. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn
know,
about other people that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Tammy Faye Baker thing.
Elton
Yeah.
John had, you know.
Well, it has to be something like Netflix because nobody's going to the movies. I've been going to the movies in Florida. They're empty.
Well, Hulu's doing they're doing something. They have a documentary. They're doing the Beatles. They're doing the Beatles on Disney. The Let It Be.
Right.
Really?
That's
series.
what like ruining one, really famous producer said the movies are over. I mean,
Really?
going to a movie theater is over. You think they're all gonna, they can't maintain what, you go to a giant movie that seats 300 people and there's 10 people in there, and it's been like that for a year already.
Well, they already figured out how to get the money back, or at least the film distributors and the manufacturers. I mean, the producers figured out how to get the money back. Is you charge $20 as a premium to watch it at home, and that's their solution. But it leaves, of course, all the theater owners shit out of luck.
I just think it's more fun to go to the movies and have popcorn.
I think so too. And there is. I agree with you, Sheba. It is fun, but I
It's
mean,
like
now
fun.
with me with the heebie-jeebies, I don't want to be sitting in somebody else's sloppy,
Yeah.
dirty seats. So I'm not
Yeah.
into that.
The only people who would have no problem sitting in a movie theater are people who wouldn't go to the movies to begin with, unless they're seeing some, dumb summer blockbuster thing.
Yeah.
I have no problem going.
Yeah. I mean,
I like it. I like it. I don't want, I've always never, wherever I go, I don't touch my face.
I have a hard time doing that.
Germs, like at the subways in New York, I have never, ever touched my face with somebody else's germs. If you don't touch your face and they're not standing next to you, sneezing on top of you.
But you wear a mask, right? Because it spreads by aerosols, not by touching your
I
face.
mean, it doesn't that much. And I don't, the 6 feet thing is a good thing with or without COVID.
Oh,
Stay the hell away from
Yeah.
people that are sneezing.
I don't want people on top of me either. Oh, you know what, Ginger? So you were living were you living in Manhattan? In Manhattan, maybe like in the late 70s? Were you out there?
I was there. Yeah, I didn't move to Florida till the late 70s. Yeah.
Okay, so let's ask Ginger. Broadway. You saw you used to go see Broadway shows back then? Because I went.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the Broadway show Beatlemania?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know. Oh, look, she's smiling. You don't know the guy who played Paul McCartney, Mitch Weissman, do you?
I don't know him personally. I know of him.
You know of him. He's going to love this. He's a fan of the show. Corey, she knows Mitch Weissman. Yeah, he's a big fan of the show. Did you see Beatlemania, the show?
Yeah. Loved
you
it.
did?
I
Loved
can't
it.
remember that much about it because I know
Yeah.
there's a movie coming out now. But it was like a long time ago, but it was good. I saw lots of stuff.
It
That
was
was
really
really good.
It was really good. Broadway was fun back then. That's when I enjoyed going to the theaters. I saw Grease on Broadway, Beatlemania, Christopher Blood. There was a lot of good things. It was the actor.
It was Yentl. Did you see Yentl?
I didn't see Yentl, but I remember it. I remember Yentl. Wow. There was a lot of great stuff on
Yeah.
Broadway. I used to go all the time. But now it's a whole different world we're living in.
I know what we think, but I don't want to put you in my category because you're younger. But like what we think is good, the newer generation Z doesn't.
No, it's a whole different
But
world.
they bring back old stuff.
They
Like
bring
people
back-
I know, they're going to Broadway to see To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a very old play.
It's a great play.
Classic. The
Yeah.
classics are the classics.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what happens in the next lifetime.
It is interesting.
The
The
music.
classics aren't always the classics.
True.
I mean, The Birth of a Nation was once considered a classic, and it glorifies the KKK.
That scared the hell out of me. That when I was a little kid, I'd see it on the PBS channel or something, black and white silent film. It scared the hell out of me.
Well,
Even
Larry
Breakfast
David did a good job of that with his last episode. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see it.
No.
No, I didn't catch it. But even Breakfast at Tiffany's was considered a movie classic until this whole thing started. And actually, they're not wrong about this because Mickey Rooney's portrayal of an Asian man, and that is ridiculously racist. So that movie's been canceled. Oh yeah, he plays the Oriental friend, and he's got his eyes taped, and he
So would
speaks
Peter
in this, like,
Sellers be canceled? Hey, would Peter Sellers be canceled now?
I don't remember. Did Peter Sellers do any racist imitations?
He did. Oh yeah. So
I
they-
he'd be canceled.
You see, I don't think the imitations are as degrading to, you know, minorities. As like, I used to be a high school English teacher, and sometimes I would show them like old Twilight Zone movies after they would read the script or something.
Mhm.
And like in every one of the Twilight Zones, it was never featured Black actors ever, not in one Twilight Zone,
I didn't
unless
think
it
of
was
that.
somebody like picking up their suitcases. That I find really demeaning.
Yeah.
The fact that you mock races, I mean, they can, you know, like Jews don't mind if you mock Jews.
No.
ever.
No,
Yeah, we don't care. Think what you want. What's the big deal?
I
But
agree
if
with
you
you.
talk, you know, if you're standing outside a Jewish person's home and you're going to burn it, that's terrible.
Yes.
But like to mock races, they love. I mean, they actually love it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I have this play called King Solomon and his 700 Wives, and Solomon was married to the Queen of Sheba, who was from Ethiopia, an African girl, and we would do it, and I had a lot of wonderful, you know, Black actors in it, but I had Sheba play the Queen of Sheba at one point, and she looked, you know, really beautiful and funny. She mocked nothing. But now I have on my Facebook, and I've been sending light to Africa because Africa is the very next big continent that's going to take off. Like in the next 50 years, it's going to be a beautiful place to be because people are sending light to it, not just me. And every day I get hundreds of likes, and they see a white girl playing the Black Queen and they don't care. And yet, if I did it again, I would definitely not use Sheba as the Queen of Sheba. But she was funny, you know?
Yeah.
She doesn't want to do it herself,
Corey,
you know?
we'll see you later, everybody.
Okay.
Sheba, where you performing next?
I'm going to be at the Funny Bone this weekend in Syracuse. And
Okay.
then after that, I'm often at the Three Monkeys where I run a show.
All right, we'll put the links in the description down below. And then Ginger, what are you working on now? Anything? Any plays?
I'm waiting. Well, we were on the Jerry Springer show. I had a play called Mel Schwartz Sleeps with Mae West.
Yes.
And I'm waiting for that to come out, where he, you know, it's like, you know, and he showed clips of it. So I'm waiting for
check
that.
out the JackieMasonMusical.com or ShebaMason.com.
Yeah.
It's great. Great.
Wow.
Oh,
Maui Swift thinks it's interesting. Thank you.
yeah,
Maui.
she said great show over here. Over here.
Thank you. Oh,
Everybody.
she was,
Yeah, that's right.
Wonderful.
And you know what? Look, Steve over here, thumbs up over here.
Wow,
That's right.
Steve.
No, you guys are actually a lot of fun to bring on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank
And I
you.
had to, Ginger, I had to bring you on because the last time we had Corey, he was so obnoxious and insane. I had to do this. So I made it a family affair. And
He's
wanted-
sweet. I mean, he's a sweet kid.
thank you. And much love to you guys. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. Everybody out there in the audience, we'll
Happy
see you later. Happy Thanksgiving to all out there. Boom.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. We're Stephen and all his friends.
See, they don't want you guys to leave. You're still here. Everybody, if you like what you like, please hit the boxes down below. And everybody have a safe Thanksgiving.